Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive right into a quick start guide for true effectiveness. In a world that feels like it was literally built to distract us, we're going to break down how you can reach your peak performance. And here's the secret, it's not about working harder, it's about working way smarter. So let's get into it.
So let's kick things off with a puzzle that I'm sure a lot of you have felt. You put in the long hours, you're bouncing from task to task, your calendar is packed. But at the end of the week, you look back and think, what did I actually accomplish? Why is it that the simple math of more time equals more results just doesn't seem to add up?
And this right here, this is the heart of the problem, and productivity expert Ryan Doris just nails it. See, our brains have this built-in quirk. It's a kind of linearity bias. We just assume that if we put in one more hour of work, we'll get one more hour's worth of results. But the most effective people out there, they know that's a total trap. The real driver isn't time. It's something else entirely.
Think of it like this. We've all got these supercar engines, right? Our minds, our skills, our energy, they're incredibly powerful. But we're stuck in this thick fog of hustle culture, just revving that engine like crazy without any idea where we're going. All the focus is on more effort, more speed, but not on a clear direction. All right, so how do we clear that fog? Well, the very first step is all about the internal game. Before you can even think about changing what you do, you have to completely reframe how you see yourself and what you're actually capable of.
Now this quote, wow, it really cuts against so much of the advice we hear today, doesn't it? But this isn't about beating yourself up. The idea here is that if you accept your current self as the finished product, you've got a perfect recipe for stagnation. It's like giving yourself permission to stop, to settle, and that kills the very drive that fuels real growth.
So here's the mindset shift, and it's a big one. You've got to see yourself as a work in progress. You're not a finished statue, you're a block of unformed marble, just packed with potential. And becoming effective, that's the process of chiseling. It can be painful, Every strike chips away a piece of the old you. An excuse, a bad habit, but it is the only way to reveal the masterpiece inside.
Okay, so to actually wield that chisel effectively, you need to get into a state the samurai called mushin, or no mind. Now, this doesn't mean being thoughtless. It means clearing out all that mental clutter, the fear, the hesitation, the self-doubt. It's a state of pure, fluid action, where your body just moves with precision and your mind follows along.
And getting to that no-mind state, it means you have to totally change your relationship with your feelings. Just think of emotions as weather. Some days are sunny, other days there's a storm, but you don't cancel your entire life just because it's raining, right? Motivation is not a requirement for action. It's a result of it. The work has to get done no matter how you feel.
Okay, so once that internal mindset is locked in, we can start talking about the external game. And this is where it gets really interesting, because we're going to look at some seriously counterintuitive strategies that will multiply your output, not by adding hours, but by taking them away.
And the big idea here is something called work compression. It's simple. You intentionally limit your working hours. Why on earth would you do that? Because it creates what's called a forcing function. When you have less time, you are forced to develop the high-impact skills you were probably ignoring before, like ruthless prioritization and just plain elimination of pointless tasks.
And this right here, this really breaks down that mental shift you've got to make. We are all wired for linear thinking. Put in more, get out a little more. But peak performers, they operate on an exponential curve. They combine fewer, intensely focused hours with way better skills to get results that are just orders of magnitude greater.
I mean, we've all done this. You tack on those extra hours at the end of a long day, thinking you're being productive. But what really happens? Your total output actually goes down. Stress kicks in, your performance tanks, and you start making sloppy mistakes you'll just have to fix tomorrow. You think you're helping, but you're actually just drowning your own effectiveness.
So how do you actually get into that peak performance state, that incredible feeling of flow where work feels almost effortless? Well, it's not random. It's actually a predictable four-stage cycle. It starts with the struggle, then moves to a release phase, then you enter flow, and then, and this is the most important part, you hit recovery.
And here it is, recovery. This is the secret ingredient that almost everybody misses. We live with this constant low-level productivity guilt, right? That nagging feeling that you should always be doing more. Well, that keeps your nervous system in a constant state of fight or flight. It prevents you from ever truly recovering, which means you can never re-enter that flow cycle.
All right, our final pillar. This is the engine that drives this whole thing. It's all about how you acquire and sharpen the skills that let you achieve more in less time. In other words, it's about learning how to learn.
So the master skill here is something called metacognition. It sounds complicated, but it's really just thinking about your thinking. It's the ability to step outside of yourself and actually observe your own learning process. And as learning coach Justin Sung says, this is one of the most critical parts of becoming a better learner, because you just can't fix a problem if you don't even know it exists.
So I want you to really ask yourself this question. Seriously, when was the last time you actually stopped and reflected on how you learn? This one question is the dividing line between passive learners who just keep using the same old tired habits and elite learners who are constantly analyzing and upgrading their own mental software. And this chart, it just lays it out perfectly. I mean, think about it. Top athletes don't guess about their performance. They track everything meticulously. The exact same principle applies to learning any complex skill. If you're just measuring your progress by gut feel, you are leaving absolutely massive gains on the table.
So the real goal here is to move away from shallow learning and into what's called deep processing. Shallow learning is like having a big pile of disconnected Lego bricks, just a bunch of isolated facts. Deep processing is taking those same bricks and building a complex, interconnected structure. You're creating a powerful mental network that you can actually use.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. We've got the mindset, the work strategy, and the learning engine. How do we actually put this all together to design a life that is truly effective? And it really boils down to this one golden rule of progress. Do one thing for longer than you think you should. We're all pulled towards the new shiny thing, but that kind of dispersion is the absolute enemy of effectiveness. The biggest rewards in life don't come from sampling a dozen different things. They come from choosing one thing and mining it for all it's worth with focused, relentless effort.
And that brings us right back to where we started. You are not a finished product. You are that block of raw marble. Becoming more effective isn't some destination you arrive at. It's a daily act of intentional creation. So, the only question that really matters is this: what's your next move? What piece of that marble are you going to chisel away today?